Hey everybody, Popplio here. So, I watched the Pokemon Presents with my friends yesterday. I thought it was good. So, let's talk about it.
It's the Netflix series Pokemon Concierge.
I really need to watch this series. It looks super good. Shout out to everyone who thought this was gonna be some new ass news. No, it's just Pokemon Master stuff. Oh my god, what have they done? This is Pokemon Sleep! You're gonna give everyone who plays this nightmares! No! Oh my god! Okay, that's better. You know, I got into Pokemon TCG Pocket recently, because I never knew how to play the trading card game. I've only been playing it for, maybe a few weeks, but I'm glad that they're adding a new booster pack. I'm sorry, it took you how long just to add a Scarlet and Violet phone case? Alright, Squishy. We'll talk about what we all came here for. Pokemon Champions, baby! Yeah, that's what it's all about! Okay, being real for a second though, I genuinely think Pokemon Champions is pretty cool. They're trying to re-invoke Pokemon Stadium and Pokemon Battle Revolution, like those same games, in its marketing. But in our modern times, it actually reminds me a lot more of Pokemon Showdown. If you don't know, Pokemon Showdown is a fan-made, web-based Pokemon battle simulator where you can basically use any Pokemon you want, any gimmick you want, which is quite a novelty now that Pokemon games don't have every single Pokemon in them anymore. They do mention in the fine print that you won't be able to use every single Pokemon in Champions, but I just think the novelty of being able to bring your own Pokemon from home into Champions is pretty cool. And not all of my friends play Showdown, so this could be a much more convenient way for us to be able to battle together whenever we want. And I just think that's pretty cool. Also, from what I heard, it's going to be a game that you pay for up front, meaning there's not going to be any microtransactions. Thank God, honestly. I really don't want Battle Revolution with microtransactions in it. Okay, but enough side stuff, let's talk about Legends ZA. So the first thing I noticed about Legends ZA immediately is the graphical style. It's definitely reminiscent of Scarlet and Violet, like they're using the same textures, the same model art style, and stuff like that. But personally, I way prefer this over Scarlet and Violet. I really didn't like the graphical style in Scarlet and Violet. Everything just looked desaturated and bright and dead, and the low poly models and muddy textures definitely didn't help in that department. And while this is clearly in the same engine as Scarlet and Violet, they gave it a lot of little touch-ups to make it look that much better. The lighting is much better, everything looks a lot more colorful, the Pokemon models look more alive. It's definitely not perfect, I've seen some people criticizing it, but personally, I'm fine with this. I just hope you can go inside more of the buildings this time. At least let me go inside the bouquets. That was one of my favorite things about X and Y. I think they made a smart decision in deciding to set the game in Lumio City only, because for one thing, Lumio City is freaking huge, but also, it gives them the time to focus on the art and set pieces for only one location, instead of for an entire region. The world in this game is already standing out a lot more to me than any location in Scarlet and Violet. Then again, that could just be my nostalgia talking. None of these Pokemon have ever been my favorites. In the Johto games, I would always pick Cyndaquil as my starter, and in the Unova games, I would always pick Snivy or Oshawott, not Tepig. But oddly enough, because of that, I kinda really like the thought process behind the starter trio. I even drew them out, look. Thanks to the last Legends game giving the starters new regional forms, we know that this game is probably either gonna give them new regional forms or new Mega Evolutions, and I think that's gonna make them stand out in the minds of a lot more people. Who knows? Maybe one of them will become one of my new favorites. But none of them stand out to me as an immediate choice, and I like that, it feels different. Anyway, I'm choosing Chikorita. I only have a Tepig plush. Dang it! Wild Zones. I assumed they were going to do something like this if the entire game takes place in Lumio City. But I'm not sure if I like it, to be honest. The first Wild Zone, to me at least, looks really tiny. They show off a bigger one later, but I'm still not sure about how it looks. They do show you being able to do parkour at one point in the trailer, so I hope they use things like that to have more of an emphasis on exploration in later parts of the game. because that was one of my favorite things about Pokemon Legends Arceus, being able to go wherever you want and see all kinds of different Pokemon. The real-time battle system in this game looks so cool. Finally, battling in the games is going to feel like the anime. And I noticed that move animations and text are a lot more snappy in this game as well, which is one of my big problems with modern Pokemon games, I'll be perfectly honest. I still like turn-based battles, but because of all the text there is, watching things play out can be really slow. It looks like they're finally starting to optimize it with this game, and I'm so happy. But here's something you might not have noticed. At one point, somebody knocks out a Flaffy, and then they catch it afterwards. A lot of people really like this, but I'll be honest, I'm not sure how I feel about it just yet. And that's because, to me at least, whittling down a Pokemon's health without knocking it out in order to catch it, it's just part of the game to me. And if that's not the best way to do it anymore and you could just knock out a Pokemon to catch it, that's removing a lot of the challenge to me. It's like, late into the game you can send out your level 60 whatever, knock out whatever you want instantly, and then be able to catch it no matter what, no thought involved whatsoever. They didn't say that doing that guarantees a capture, so maybe it's more of a high-risk, high-reward type of system, but I'm still a little worried. Mega Evolution is back, finally! Obviously super excited about that. I'm gonna get an Ampharos. AZ really cleaned up his act after X and Y. It's nice to see that he's doing well. I also really like his new design. We don't really know how Zygarde's gonna be involved in the story of this game yet, but I really like that you can see the little Zygarde shells. Not just because I think they're adorable, although they are, but I also think it's a much better visual indicator than a green twinkle. And the Zygarde cells also slither around, and I didn't know they could do that, and I love it so much, and I really need to stop talking like I'm 5 years old. So yeah, that's pretty much it for my thoughts. We didn't really see too much in the Pokemon Presents Direct, but the nice thing is that the game is coming out this year, so we'll definitely see more in the coming months. What did you think of the ZA trailer, Squishy? My name's Zeke. I'll be honest for a second. Pokemon X and Y were probably some of my favorite Pokemon games as a kid. I've always loved the region, and the Pokemon they introduced, and the story. And I remember being so excited for them to make a follow-up to X and Y, in the same vein as Black and White with Black and White 2. So I'll be honest, this is probably the game I've wanted since I was 10 years old. This is also probably going to be the last Pokemon game I play for a while. I've just been taking interest in other things, I'm getting older, you know how it is. But no matter what, I really hope I enjoy Legends ZA. I think it's gonna be great. Thanks for listening to me ramble about this game. If you stayed in this long, then I commend you for that. This is probably gonna be a new style of video that I try out, where I just talk about whatever is interesting to me that day. Whether it's video games, plushies, my life, just anything that I want to talk about. So, I hope you enjoy that. I have a couple of other videos in mind already like this, so I'll probably be releasing more of these videos sometime next month. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.